agenda is, maybe even the enslavement of the human race as a remnant, or something as a scenario like that, and then finally a third category whereby none of the other two categories would even hint at the possibility or the horror of what's happening. And it's a very compartmentalized system. I can only begin to guess, even though that I've been in the thick of things from the outer core to the second core level, but I have no idea what's in the third core level. No way at all. And because it's so complicated, I've heard some of this run by me. It's so fantastic. It makes a Star Wars or a movie or a Star Trek novel, a Babylon 5 novel look like a kid's toy. I mean, it's too fantastic for me to believe. So I can assume that it might be a otherworldly plan or scenario for taking over the planet, but once again, I can't prove it, so I don't talk about it. Right here, I'm only basically to discuss basically what I know of the alien agenda and through deep underground military bases and the application that I did during this kind of activity in the U.S. government. I'll have a question and answer period in a short time. I've already talked about old firefights. I will tell you right now, I'm breaking major federal law. I'm breaking my entire security oath system. The security oaths, in fact, here's a copy of my 1985 security clearance. You might zoom in on that if you care to. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Tell me when. Okay. And of course it's got a picture of me, it's got Department of the Air Force, it's got a control number here, it's got a digital control number and name here, it's got a UPC stripe here, it's got a level L. That was only issued to people that worked at Groom Lake and Area S4. And R, restricted zone R4808E. This is a computer chip camera in the card itself. You didn't wear the card like you wore another security card. This one wasn't worn. This was used to get you into the main gate. And there's a large machine. I can't draw it. There was a large machine that looked like a kind of like a curved. The bottom part, you put the card in, and you put your thumbprint on. You're supposed to actually, some of them had two of them. I don't have a second thumb, so this one was made with one. There's normally two here, and the L for a normal person would be up through the UPC stripe. So there was one, and I put my thumb there on the bottom, and if it would flash green, I'd flick a switch, and then I'd insert the card in the second part of the control unit, and there'd be a thing that would hold my forehead, and I could block off my left eye, and I'd stick this thing up to my right eye and take a picture of my retina, and then if the green light went off, I could remove my card and I could leave it at the guard shack, and I'd wait for anywhere from 45 minutes to several hours waiting for the next shift to start. I'm breaking all my security oaths by coming out in the open and talking about this, because not only are we dealing with a kind of technology I believe that we should be out, that should be out in the public. It should, at least this kind of 50 and 60-year-old material should be out in the public. I feel that in coming clean, so to speak, I don't know quite how to explain it other than the fact that when I initially was told these underground bases were for security in case of nuclear attack of the United States, and it was a total lie. When I found out that aliens were actually entrenched in half of these bases, and these bases, by the way, cost a minimum of $17 billion apiece. The black budget garners $508 billion a year. $1.023 trillion every 2 years. That's 2-year-old information. It's probably more like 1.3 trillion now, which is about 1/4 of the gross national product of the United States. It's no wonder why our economy is kind of up and down here and there. Once again, you might ask, well, how in the heck? We've only been told, we the public have only been told there's a total defense budget of $447 billion, so how can there be $500 billion going on behind the scenes? First of all, black budget means hidden budget. Hidden budget is totally hidden from congressional view and oversight, cannot be audited by the U.S. Treasury system at all. It is a separate, independent taxing body entity within the federal government structure, which, by the way, is illegal. Totally illegal. It's primarily financed by drug operations by the CIA and the NSA and the Drug Enforcement Administration, and now the FBI is implicated also. Recently there was an FBI man who came out of the cold, so to speak, and told all, only to find himself murdered, and he took a vacation in England, got himself murdered. That was in the paper about 3 years ago. Anyway, 9 attempts on my life have been taken, all since the 1st of January of this year. Well, I've been shot at, been run off the road. 3 times I've been run off the road, one of which is I'm a very good driver. I used to race cars for somewhat of a hobby type living. I used to race everything from Formula 1 on down, motorcycles and stuff like that when I was a kid, so I lived kind of on the edge all the time. So I became a very good driver, a very defensive driver, and so if somebody's trying to run me off the road, like before my Vegas talk, I dropped a friend of mine off at 29 Palms area and saw another friend in the Marine Corps hospital who's dying of cancer. And on the way out of there, you have to skirt around a whole mountain range. You just can't take the easiest way in a straight line out. It'd be nice, but it doesn't work that way. You have to skirt around these mountains. And, I had a Ford Taurus with a police interceptor motor, and roughly an 8-liter motor. It's a real monster. And there were 2 long Ford E350 vans, and they all had Air Force markings on them. They all had guns, and they were all shooting, and they were missing. And I flew by them and took a picture of their, as a blur, I took a picture of them, got a very good picture of their license plates. And then they sped up and tried to squeeze me in this way, and then finally I just slid right in the middle of the road, and the road was just wide enough for basically one-way traffic. And one of them rolled over and kept going down for about 300 or 400 feet down a very steep ravine. The other one was a shallow ravine about 10 feet deep. And I just kind of peered over, got the hook of my seatbelt, peered over, and there was a big fire started on down there. I could hear people screaming, but I'm sorry, that's their deal. I just kept on going. That was one way. Recently I got shot at when I was with a retired FBI agent. We were going to go to a Patriot talk show down near Salem, Oregon. And I got shot here, here, here. It's what's called a CIA cocktail. I don't have normal ribs after Dulce, New Mexico fiasco, where my ribs are burnt, cauterized, my fingers are burnt off of me, etc. I have a plastic plate in here, a nylon plate that has bumps on it, looks like ribs and everything. So those bullets just kind of lodged in this thick, 5/8" thick plastic, movable plastic thing in the inside. And that was dug out.